What's good? How y'all doing this evening?
Welcome to the FILA Sports Podcast Wednesday edition, which means it's rivalry week, which means we're talking college football, hometown guys talking hometown sports. It's your boy, Coach Mario, and my co-host, the man known as the Don. What's going on, man?
How y'all doing this evening? Glad y'all could join us today. We tried to do a show last night, but hey, Skype was, I guess, tripping. So hey, it is what it is. We're going to air that show tomorrow. So join us tomorrow for that one. But tonight, we talking about Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. They taking on NC State Wolfpack this week. So hey, but you already know, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with other Georgia college sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always,
come holla
at your hometown sports podcast. If you haven't been following us, follow us on Twitter at FILA_SP, Instagram FILA Sports Podcast, and on Facebook FILA Sports Podcast. You can also hear our audio version on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Google Play. You can hear it pretty much anywhere you want to now. So if you don't want to listen to you don't want to watch the videos live on YouTube, you can listen to the audio on those platforms. Shows also brought to you by Grant Park Print House. So the link is in the description for that. So if you want to get any custom designs for a bag or shirt, coffee mug, just click on the link and contact them, and they'll hook you up. So we have a special guest on tonight. We have a NC State Wolfpack expert and writer, Alec Sawyer. How you doing this evening?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, thank you for joining us, man. I think it's a privilege of you being on, man.
Appreciate it.
All right. Hey, he ain't even a Panthers fan, so
What
was the word? Was that?
Where was that?
Why am I echoing?
Why am I echoing?
Yeah, I heard it too.
Yeah.
Okay, it went away.
All right, good. Thanks. Ooh, I'm about to say, do I need to fix something there? All right. But as I was saying, yeah, he's not even a Panthers fan, so hey, we can dig that. So we can dig that.
Right.
We checked, y'all. We checked. He's a Steelers fan, so that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And Alec, we asked everybody who they're a fan of before they come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have to grill you first. What do you call it? Have to vet you first. Yeah, have to vet you first.
Exactly.
All right, so you already let them know we're good, Don? You ready?
Yeah, I already. Yeah, go ahead and run it down, man. Yeah. Let's get it.
All right. So we're gonna start with the scores from last week. As we know, the Bulldogs went to the Plains to take on Eagles, Tigers, whatever they want to be this year or this week. We won the game 21-14 this week. Georgia, another stiff test, man. SEC football. Texas A&M, they come to us though. First time they've been here since 1980, I think.
1980, which is really a coincidence. What happened that year?
Yeah, it is. Sugar was falling from the sky.
I wouldn't even thought of then. So
I was two. Yeah, I was two. Well, guess 1.5 when the game was played. Saturday at 3, and that'll be Texas A&M Saturday at 3:30. That's on CBS. Georgia State took on App State last Thursday. Actually, that was 2 Thursdays ago, and they took that one on the chin, 45-27. They'll be home versus South Alabama at 2 p.m. Saturday on ESPN Plus. They're currently sitting at 6-4. Go ahead.
And they have to win that game to become bowl eligible. Yeah, they have to win that game
because one of their wins is against an FCS.
Yep.
And that doesn't count. Yeah, when you're a power. Yep. So, but that is on ESPN Plus, and that is Saturday at 2 p.m. Georgia Southern got a win last week, put a big number on you. Louisiana Monroe, 51-29. Don, you were at that game.
Yeah, I was at that game. They look good. Shy Wirtz, he's doing well. We know he's a dual threat quarterback, but he's making those throws. And hey, and Wes Kennedy, their running back, I can see he's going to end up being the day 2 or day 3 draft pick. So I'm calling it now. I'm telling you, he's going to end up being a draft pick. And we know our history. I know I don't want to talk about the Falcons right now, but hey, if I was the Falcons, I'm not trying to look. You already know I don't want to draft in the trenches, but if he go undrafted, somehow if he goes undrafted, we need to go on and pick him up.
And then you got later rounds as well. Yeah, I mean, you just mean not in the early rounds.
Yeah, I want to pick him up. Not day 2, not day 3. So he could go to a team, but if something happens, he falls. You know, because he is a junior, I believe. I don't know if he's gonna declare for the draft or not. So we probably won't hear about anything about that probably till a few weeks from now. But Southern, they did become bowl eligible with that win. So stay tuned to figure out what bowl they play in. We'll probably do a rivalry week show sometime in a couple of weeks to talk about each team in the state, what bowl they playing in, or if it's like Valdosta State, something like that, you know, because they don't have bowls, they just play in the playoffs. So,
and finish up with Georgia Southern. They have Arkansas State. They're going to Arkansas State on Saturday. That'll be at 3:30, and that's on ESPN Plus. And like we said, Georgia State and Georgia Southern both sitting at 6 and 4. Kennesaw State, last week they put a huge number on Hampton, 50-7. They finished their season up with Gardner Webb Saturday at 2 p.m. Like I say, they're gonna miss being the conference champions. Monmouth is going to end up being the conference champion. So Kennesaw State will finish up Saturday
and
with Gardner Webb.
And we'll have John Fenner to come on tomorrow to talk about Kennesaw State. We supposed to have that. We had supposed to talk about that yesterday. Like I said, Skype had issues, so we'll do it. We'll do that tomorrow. So
So tune in tomorrow. Valdosta State last week got the win 42-14 over West Georgia. They win the Gulf South Conference. They get a first round bye. So they will be off Saturday, and they will play the winner of Wingate or West Florida. West Florida gave them their toughest game this year. So Wingate and West Florida play in the first round. Valdosta State gets the winner of that game next week at home. And I think the game is already set for like 6 p.m. or 4 p.m. next week. But, of course, we'll talk about that next week. So they get that first round bye. Yeah. And that brings us to the topic of tonight. Georgia Tech. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. Valdosta State, you guys know, are sitting at 10-0, and Kennesaw State is sitting at 9-2.
All right.
And that brings us to our 2-8. Georgia Tech. Well, why are you laughing, Alec? I said 2-8, and he started smiling, Don. That's our 2-8. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. We take on NC State Saturday. I'm sorry, tomorrow, 8 p.m. I'm sorry, that's a Thursday game. That's tomorrow, 8 p.m. I'm sorry.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. I'm so used to saying Saturday. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. on ESPN. So we'll jump right back. We'll jump right into it. NC State is trying to get bowl eligible, Alec. Is it going to happen?
I would say no. I think you have to go on the road. I know Georgia Tech struggled, but it's still a road game. NC State's been absolutely awful on the road this year. And then you come back home to play a Carolina team that's been pretty good. So you would have to win both of those games. I just don't think it's going to happen. The biggest issue for State is the injuries. State, honestly, at this point has 10 or 11 guys that have had season-ending injuries. You got a lot of freshmen playing. So when you mix those things together, you do have a tough game against Carolina next week to try to get to that. If you can even beat Georgia Tech on the road, which is no guarantee. So I don't think they make a bowl now.
And he's we'll go to the predictions in a minute. So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. I'll wait to the prediction.
Oh, you're going to predict. So, well, that kind of piggyback on my second part of the question. How's the team's motivation? And that's why I put that in there, because I knew about the injuries. How is the team's, what's the morale?
Yeah. I think the motivation's there. I really do. The morale's not been terrible talking to some of the guys, getting to know them. You have a mixture of freshmen that are getting the opportunity to play and trying to go out and prove it. You do have a couple of healthy seniors that have never missed a bowl game. They're not going to want to miss one. I think the motivation's there. I think that the morale is actually pretty good for a team that's 4-6, has lost 4 in a row now at this point. But
Yeah.
Execution just hasn't been there. They just are tired. They're hurt. So.
And speaking of morale, with our own guys, I'm telling you guys, the guys love Coach Collins. Speaking of Georgia Tech,
Yes.
they're 2-8 now, but if you go out there, they're playing hard. And I tell you, some of y'all know, I know plenty of the guys personally, they like Coach Collins. They do. The guys on campus, like I had a guy tell me, matter of fact, that Coach Collins is the only reason I'm here. I had a guy tell me that, a player, a starter on Tech tell me Coach Collins is the only reason I'm here.
He's a player. He's a player's coach.
Yeah,
he changed the culture. It's not when Paul Johnson was here, it was just he had that Bill Belichick style. He wasn't Bill Belichick. I'm not saying he's Bill Belichick now, all right, but he just had that old school rough. Don't smile at all. I'm here to work. And
but don't get it wrong. The guys did like Coach Johnson.
Yeah, they
they love Coach Collins. The guys did like Coach Johnson.
Well, let's put it like this. Let's put things in perspective. Yeah. They respected Coach Johnson.
Yes,
they respected Coach Johnson, and they respect Collins too. But they love Collins. Like
Coach Johnson is a guy that, if you talk to guys who played with him before, they'll tell you, I can call Coach Johnson anytime, any day or night. He'll pick up the phone for me. So Coach Johnson is definitely more of a father figure, and the guys who played for him definitely respect him, and they definitely look at him as that father figure type. So the guys who've been through Tech, they don't dislike Coach Johnson, but Coach Collins brought swag, and that's what it's about now. So let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. All right, so we'll go through the chat real quick, and then we'll talk some more NC State. In the chat, they're talking NBA basketball, even though we're supposed to be talking college football. What's going on, JF? What's going on there, Georgia boy? JF said the Hawks are playing a good competitive game versus the Bucks right now. And Georgia boy said these boys got to get in the weight room with these weak dunks. And Jonathan said, Georgia boy, it's nice to be able to have hope for a W after the first quarter. Bucks starting to run up the score. Are y'all talking college football at all in the chat? No, so they're just talking basketball.
I know, and I know Alec don't want to hear that because he's an NC State person, and most of our team is from Duke, Duke and Wake Forest, because you got Collins with the Wake Forest, and yeah. And then Hunter with the Virginia, so he not want to hear nothing about no Hawks.
Well, our last topic, we're gonna touch on a little basketball on the last topic. So this is a personal question, and this is something I ask to whoever we have on every week, because I'm a huge rivalry guy. Obviously I'm a Georgia fan, so I love the Georgia. I'm a Georgia. I actually love the Georgia Auburn rivalry more than Georgia Tech. Georgia Florida. Coming up as a kid, Miami and Florida State was Christmas. It's not anymore. Like that Saturday was just like must see TV. It's terrible now. The toilet bowl. How real is, or how intense is the North Carolina State UNC rivalry?
Yeah, it's real. It's an interesting one because obviously you have Carolina and Duke, which steps over. But the State Carolina one's a real rivalry. I mean, State fans really care about beating Carolina. They really do. Carolina fans, I mean, probably do view it as maybe a younger brother type thing. But there's a lot of hate there. It's intense. I don't know exactly how it is down there, but I would imagine that the State Carolina rivalry is somewhat similar to maybe the Georgia Tech one, where Georgia maybe in Florida or Auburn is a little bit more intense. The SEC one, where the Georgia Tech one is a little bit more of a, not on the side, but a little less hate. But I think it's still very intense, the rivalry, especially when it comes to basketball season. It really boosts that up.
So if State had to choose one, do they want a sweep in basketball or do they want the football win?
Oh, State fans would 100% choose the sweep in basketball. Yeah. Not a question in my mind. Yeah, State wins in football. I mean, that's the State Carolina football rivalry is pretty even. The basketball rivalry, obviously, Carolina wins most of the time. If you could promise a State fan right now that you could sweep Carolina in basketball and lose every single football game, I think they take it in a heartbeat.
Wow.
Hold on. Here's my thing. I'm for basketball. All right, I think North Carolina Tar Heels has a bigger rivalry with Duke, and you guys have a rivalry with Wake Forest.
Yeah, the Wake State thing makes a lot of sense, but for some reason it hasn't taken traction. The issue is that State and Wake aren't super close, and it's a 2.5, 2 hour, almost 3 hour drive between those two, where State and Carolina and Duke are all right together. But
that tobacco triangle.
Yeah. State and Wake would be a more competitive basketball matchup, that's for sure.
So outside of, because we all know about the ACC and all the colleges in there in Carolina, after UNC, who's the hated school for North Carolina State?
Yeah, I think at this point it would be Duke probably. Mainly not necessarily, I would say not necessarily even because of the school, but because of the fans. If you go way back, if you look historically, Wake Forest used to be right north of Raleigh. They moved to Winston-Salem probably 50 years ago. So if you look historically, State and Wake did have a pretty good rivalry back then. But honestly, I'd say now it'd be Duke. But again, that's more product of just hating Duke fans than it is of necessarily hating Duke.
So I guess you pretty much answered my last question, because my last question was, is NC State a football school or a basketball school? So I think that's kind of a moot point now. I thought that was a valid question, but I guess that's just my ignorance living in Georgia with football crazy. It's like college basketball, like they're doing that again this year. Like, but North Carolina is college basketball. I guess I wasn't even thinking that when I asked the question.
Yeah, basketball is king up here. I mean, people love NC State football. State fans really do care. But once basketball season starts, especially if State football is playing like they are this year, where it's not been as successful, the fans just go straight over to basketball. State's had more success historically in basketball, a couple national championships. Haven't ever done much in football. So,
well, y'all put out some good draft. Y'all put out some good players. And look, I got Phillip Rivers.
Bradley Chubb.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of good NFL draft picks. Not a ton of college football wins. Not a huge amount of success.
So what is NC State's outlook this year for college basketball?
They look pretty good. They actually they hosted Georgia Tech to open the season in that ACC game and lost in overtime.
Yeah, I remember that game. Tech did win.
We were shocked.
Yeah, we were
like Tech won an ACC game. Like it's gonna snow.
In that game, State was missing their starting point guard, Markel Johnson, who's just a really good player. So they were missing him. They look good. I think they're going to have a pretty good season. A lot of talent on that team, a couple grad transfers. So I think they're definitely probably a tournament team.
All right, hold on. I got a question, and I'm not trying to go off topic, but it's on basketball. Now, I know you heard of the news of the Memphis center, Wiseman. He's suspended for 11 games or something like that, and then they're asking him to pay $11.5 thousand. I'm saying to myself, like I'm trying to read the thing sideways like this, and I'm saying to myself, like, okay, I get the suspension part, okay, I get that, but you telling a person who not allowed to get paid, who don't have that type of money, to pay a fine. I'm trying to make sense of it. What do you think about this, Alec?
I mean, it's ridiculous. I think, honestly, the entire suspension, that entire situation's one where the NCAA has kind of reared its ugly head, as it normally. But then to suspend him and an $11,000 fine, like I don't know where you get that money without going to do it illegally again. Because, I mean, I guarantee you most college kids don't have $11,000 sitting around.
They don't even have $11. Let's keep it 100.
Unless
they get paid on the table. But at the same time, I know
Nevin Shapiro hanging around.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing though. Like, I know NFL players get fined and they don't get fined that doggone much.
And they have the money for it.
Exactly.
And now it's like, if he goes and pay it, oh man, now that's just a whole nother investigation. And because where'd you get 11.5? It's just begging to answer or open up other questions.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go ahead with our predictions, you guys. We've got 7 people in the chat, 3 likes, guys. Y'all, come on now, blow up the like button.
All right, so people in the chat, you guys, what do you think? Tech, North Carolina State, tomorrow 8 p.m. at home. Now, one thing I will say, Tech generally does well in Thursday games.
Yep, they do.
I looked up the stat earlier. I forgot what it was. I looked it up. It was actually yesterday when I looked it up. Tech has actually fared well in these Thursday games. I can tell you that the team was very, very, very upset after getting drugged by Virginia Tech. They were extremely upset about that showing, and they definitely want to come out and compete hard tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, man, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I think Tech's gonna win tomorrow.
You know what? Go ahead.
You feel the same way? I like to change my damn.
I really think Tech is gonna win tomorrow, man. Here's my thing.
21-20, a nail biter type. What you got done?
What you say now?
I said I see like a 21-20 nail biter type Tech squeaking one out type game.
I think Tech is gonna win. I say 28-21 or 28-24. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be that range, but I really think it's gonna be similar to how Tech beat Miami. Back in a couple of months ago. So I really feel like Tech is gonna come out because look, you got to think about it like this here. And they got this game and they got UGA next week. Mm-hmm. They gonna go hard for this game, and I'm pretty sure they gonna go hard in the UGA game too.
Because they don't have a chance next week.
They got it. You never know, man. You never know. You never know. It's it's any given Saturday, man. Any given Saturday, or even in this case, any given Thursday. So I really feel like they gonna really try to get that 3rd win tomorrow night. All right.
That Georgia boy said he thinks Tech will lose 28-14. So Alec, what's your prediction? What'll happen tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm actually with you guys. I think Georgia Tech pulls off a win in this one. State's gone on the road 4 times this year and gotten just obliterated in all 4 of those games. They lost. Their closest road loss was 17 to West Virginia. They haven't won on the road. They've lost 4 straight games. They're injured. They're just not that good. And I think Georgia Tech's a team that, gets a home game on a Thursday night, national audience, an opportunity to, pick up a win. I think Georgia Tech probably wins. I'll say 28-24.
Hey, if you're a guy who likes to make bets, prop bet you can make tomorrow, a 2-18 and a 4-16, I can guarantee you'll see some trick plays tomorrow. Guarantee you'll see some type of fake field goal, fake punt, double pass. Guarantee you, probably from both teams, that you've been practicing these razzle dazzle plays all year. What the hell you not gonna run them for now? I'm sorry if I'm a coach. Like, we've been practicing this play all year. We finna run it, damn it. Why not now?
NC State has a wide receiver on their team that has 2 touchdown throws already this year. So
yeah, so guarantee you tomorrow you'll see some type of from both teams. I'm gonna say you'll see at least some type of trick play from both teams tomorrow.
Exactly.
Reverse on kickoff, something just not out of the ordinary. But it's that time. You've been practicing all year. Kids love. Every coach, you always practice what I call razzle dazzle plays. You always practice a couple razzle dazzle plays, and you're looking for the time to run it. And the kids are always begging, "Come on, coach! Can we run it, please?" Why not now?
Yeah.
Might as well let them have some fun. So I would.
All right.
I would.
So JF said 24-14. Who's winning that game? You just put the score. Who's winning?
JF is a big majority of our people on our stream are Bulldog fans. So earlier they're like, y'all talking Tech, that's why we talking basketball. So majority of them are Bulldog fans. So that's why they're not much Tech guys. But we try to cover because I don't know if you know anything about Atlanta sport. Alec, Tech, like you said, continue seems to be the little brother in the media, and Tech fans get upset that we never talk about them, but you guys don't join the show, so don't get mad. We don't talk about you.
And I put everything in all the Facebook groups, on Instagram, on Twitter, all that. So, hey, you know, it ain't we support all Georgia colleges in the state. You know, anytime we do it, we put it out everywhere. So there's no excuse. Now we have 8 people in the chat. So Jo said Tech is gonna win.
Yeah.
So
put it like this: 8 people in the chat. Alec, if we were talking Georgia football, it'd be 28. If we were talking Falcons, it'd be 38.
Now, if it be Falcons, we probably have like 400 some views.
Yeah.
So
it's just how it goes around here.
Yeah. Man.
But we do support Tech. I'm a Georgia fan, but I don't dislike Tech. I'm a big time Georgia fan, but I want Tech to beat Georgia if it meant Tech could go and do something big. You know what I'm saying? So if Georgia was 5-5 and Tech was 11-0, I want Tech to win.
Here's my thing. I'm not a fan of either team. I'm a Michigan fan. So I'm a Michigan fan, but I do support both schools. I also support Georgia State, Georgia Southern, Valdosta State, Savannah State. I support every school in the state. So
now, JF and that Georgia boy, I got to get him because I wasn't even going to bring it up. But since he brought up Michigan, and we did, speak on today, 2 references I could have made about a certain high school, I skipped today. But he going to bring up Michigan. I'm going to let it slide.
Okay, you got some people that's going. You got some kids going to North Carolina State. Is that true?
I don't. No, I don't. Earlier, it was when we talked about Wingate and Savannah State. I got kids there, but I let it slide. I didn't even point it in there.
Hey man, it's cool, man.
All right, so Alec, you got anything you need to plug? You sell any weave, mixtapes, or anything like that?
No, nothing like that.
All right, let them know where they can check you out at, and where they can find you at.
Yeah, my Twitter's just at Alec Sawyer. I write for Pack Pride, who's part of the 24/7 Sports Network. So that's where most of my stuff is.
You write you cover all sports for North Carolina State?
Yeah, so with Pack Pride I do mainly football, basketball, a little bit of baseball or stuff like that. So
okay.
Some of the revenue stuff.
Does North Carolina State have a hockey team?
We have a club hockey team, so they don't play it, but they're pretty good. They're pretty loyal fan base too.
Yeah,
so.
y'all play Clemson and Tech, don't y'all? Because Tech has a club hockey team.
Yeah, State's got a pretty good club hockey team.
Mm-hmm. I'm big into hockey, so trust me, I know about some hockey. So, but hey, glad you could join us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
All right, no problem. Everybody in the chat, thank y'all for joining us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, you guys, talking about Kennesaw State. So if you know some Kennesaw State alumni, people who go to Kennesaw State, tell them to join us tomorrow night at 9:00. We'll talk about that school and their program right now.
And that Georgia boy JF, y'all can join us and talk basketball in the chat while we talk Kennesaw State football.
Exactly. All right. And the people who's listening to us at a later time, thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with other Georgia college sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always,
come holla
at your hometown sports podcast. All right. See y'all tomorrow night. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Y'all be safe.
Tell them boys play time's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them boys play time's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. I got it. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them boys play time's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me.